Welcome to Wesley Impact. I'm Keith Garner. How important is it to be ready to try new ways of doing things? Thank you for your company today. I always like to hear from you on Wesley Impact, and I encourage you to write to me if you've got any questions about the programme or about the Christian faith. Now, we did have an email from a guy called David watching in Perth, and I hope you're watching today, responding to one young woman on our programme who's selling fruit and vegetables to raise funds to support an international mission work. You might remember that. David wrote in this way: "After watching the interview with your guest selling fruit and vegetables, I felt challenged to be more accountable with the way I spend my money and the social impact of my actions. I've been trying to make changes to my daily and weekly routines, but I'm finding it difficult to break my old habits." He says that he donates regularly to charity, but do my actions really speak louder than words? Well, I think there are many things you could say, but I think one thing that you'd want to say is this is as much a matter of Christian discipleship as anything else. What you do with your money in terms of what you spend it on and what you do for other people. And I think that you really have to have a passion to see the outcome of what you're doing. Not just see it as something whereby you're in a straitjacket and you've got to do this, but to see an outcome that is very positive and real. And what an outcome there can be if we all learn to a closer, more astute understanding of how it is we spend our money day by day. I hope those thoughts just get you thinking a little bit more deeply, David. On today's programme, we'll continue with the second part of my conversation with Colin Buchanan, which was recorded earlier this year in the Wesley Centre. And we'll be joined in the studio by Francine Bell singing "Roll, Jordan, Roll." And I'll share some thoughts on the parable of the talents. But first, trying new ways of doing things, and knowing that that's not something that we encourage everybody to do, but we do it at Wesley Mission because we think it's part and parcel of what it is that we're about. It's something that we take on board through all and every area of our work. At Frank Vickery Village, just south of Sydney, we operate a retirement village with a community of over 300 people. And we also operate Wesley Life Skills Programme, and we brought the two of them together. People working with a disability, encouraging them to pursue their dreams, and also working with older people. Always looking to improve what we do, the two came together. Let's take a look together at that work.
This is the Linked Up program, and it's a joint initiative between Woolooware Life Skills and the Retirement Village. The program started with an idea from Michelle. She was wanting to get some more community access for her service users, and at the same time I was looking at some programs to help with the social isolation of my residents here at the village.
The idea did come about on a train trip with both Jodie and myself. We were going in for some training. I thought if two lots of people could come together, that one group may feel like they don't have much left with their life and my others are a bit too frightened to be who they really are in front of people, that it might just work. And it did.
One of the challenges that we had was having people, my residents, step into an area that they may not have had any exposure to, and the fear that comes with dealing with people that may have a disability of some sort. But that was overcome probably within the first 5 minutes of us getting together. So from there, it's just grown.
My guys are so happy with company and to get with each other and to meet new people and to socialise, where they can be themselves without fear of any insults or people ignoring them or walking around them or walking away from them.
We've made some events quite open, like a coffee morning, have a coffee van come in to the village. So you can go and buy coffee and then by default actually find yourself being involved in the program. And once people have had a taste for that, we find that they come along to the next one.
I can't honestly recall who came up with the idea of the mural, but as we talked about what we were going to do, it started off with hands and feet. And then we took it a little bit further and we thought, well, we could get to know each other a little better if we put the other things that we like to do when we're not working or we're not with each other. And that's where it came about. My clients were so excited. Grant, one of my clients, would see himself as a footballer. So we did a photo of Grant and we put it on a Bronco body. I have another client that wants to try every coffee shop from here to Sydney. So her passion, which is what we called the mural, was coffee. Coffee beans, coffee cups, anything to do with coffee.
Most definitely, Michelle and I have got ideas around rolling this out through the rest of Wesley Mission, but I can't see any reason that it couldn't be rolled out into lots of different settings. For Wesley Mission, we've already got a lot of those programs in place and they're running in isolation of each other. And look, if we can do it, anybody can.
I want everyone to have that feeling. I want everyone to feel that at any time in their life, whatever's going on in their life, they can still help others. And that's what it's all about.
If you would like to learn more about Wesley Mission, visit wesleymission.org.au. You can find help in our community services, connect with our church and congregations, discover a volunteer role that suits you, stay up to date on the latest news and information, donate to support our work, and help make a positive difference in your community. You can also connect with us on social media and subscribe to receive the latest news and information about Wesley Mission directly into your inbox. Visit wesleymission.org.au.
Sweetheart, we can only pick one. Pick your favourite. Look. Come on. I don't know. Anywhere but here.
For some, homelessness is safer than home. 17% of Australia's homeless are aged under 12. Donate today.
So do visit the website if you'd like to find out more about Wesley Mission, or if we can be of help to you, or you can support us in any way that you can. The address is on the screen now, and if you'd like David have questions that he did, then don't be afraid to write, and we'll do our best to give some kind of answer. You can find all that detail on the email address on the screen now. Early this year, I spoke with Australian children's and country music entertainer Colin Buchanan in an event held in the Wesley Centre. This is the second part of that conversation. I hope you enjoy it. I remember talking to the late George Hamilton IV and some of those people that were top singers in America from the field and genre that you are part of, and asking him why it was that people in the country and western world often switch easily into gospel. And is that part of the reason? Because the Christian faith is a story, and basically so many songs that are released in the popular genre don't really have a story. They don't even have a beginning, a middle, and an end. But your songs do.
I've always loved stories. I mean, I love songs that paint a picture, put me in a place. I mean, I went to Burke and started listening to music that had been written about that place, and just the resonance. You know, you listen to a great John Williamson song about the country, and you stand in with red dirt on your feet, and you think, this is absolutely authentic. I can see this song, and I think, you know, you write songs. And I know the cliche is lying, dying and crying, sort of play it backwards and the dog comes back, sort of thing. But genuinely songs that resonate with stories, and it happens occasionally in the pop scene. I always loved when, you know, I sometimes thought I was a little bit born just that little bit too late, because that singer-songwriter thing of the '60s when James Taylor and Jackson Browne and of course Dylan and all those people were right there, and they were telling stories. I think it's come back a bit, actually.
For sure. And I know that time at Burt was kind of it was seminal for you, and it was a defining period of time. Yep. You look back at your career. You've now involved very much at Tamworth, you know, and you've had your own awards and recognitions, haven't you?
Yeah, 3 doctorates.
Yeah.
A lot of great infrastructure projects.
But you have, and I think you've been modest about that, but it's right to say that recognition's been important. But also, I listen to you sometimes on a Friday, I call it Thank Goodness It's Friday.
Yeah.
And I think that's an interesting thing just to explore for a moment, because there sometimes you're discussing an issue of the day, and really, I listen to it and think, oh, Colin's in on this one now. What is he going to say about this? I mean, making the Christian witness in the public square is very important, isn't it?
It really is. And look, if you can't be, none of us are objective to life. We're all participating in it. And I think as a Christian, it's such a compelling thing to know God. It affects the entirety of your life. So you take that into the office, you take it into whatever area you find yourself at the workbench. And for me, the workbench can be in there at ABC on a satirical Friday event. And that's always, I mean, I'm probably one of the more childish, I'm probably more the kick me sticker on your back sort of guy, or, maybe a funny picture on the blackboard before the teacher arrives, as opposed to sort of, I don't like it when it gets sort of crude, and you can probably hear me just pedaling back on the accelerator.
I do.
Yeah, and I think, well, I'll let him go, because I'm just one of three. But I will say Richard Glover is a really interesting cat, because he says, you're a Christian, you just be who you are here, and that's what I say to all my guests. And so I find it's a really great place to just, it's almost like someone's put a camera or a microphone in the lunchroom, and they're recording that conversation. And I do find a lot of Christians will say, oh, I like hearing you there, and just sort of seeing how you navigate that whole thing. But I am there to try and be humorous as well. So,
and I think Richard interviewed you about your latest thing, and there he just gave you permission, didn't he? This is about the cross, and it's about the faith. Talk about that. They weren't interested in listening to. That's what you are.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting. He beforehand he bustled in and said, "No, we're going to talk about we want to talk about Christian faith. You're happy with that?" I said, "Well, you heard the album." But that was great. He really did give license. And someone texted actually at the end of that, and I mean there were some complimentary texts, but there was someone who said, "What are you giving the Christians airtime for here? This is the ABC." And literally, so he went to News and Weather, and he came back, and he described. He travelled with me writing a story for the Good Weekend in the early '90s. And I haven't actually heard, I've only heard it secondhand, because I was talking about microphones to the recording engineer while this was happening. But he said, I travelled with Colin, and we went to the Christian community. We went to a church in Burke, and he said, the love that I saw amongst those people, especially in a time of drought, was deeply affected me and continues to deeply affect me. That's authentic love amongst these Christian people. And I'm not a Christian, but that's something that I saw and really appreciated. And at the ABC, we'll give anyone a go, even the Christians.
I hope you found that conversation with Colin interesting. It's the second part of a conversation filmed early this year. If you'd like to catch up on the first part or watch that interview again, please visit our website, where you can watch both interviews back to back. We've got a special treat now. Francine Bell, who's also a good friend, has been performing on stage and screen since the age of 5. She's a consummate professional and is with us today. Please welcome Francine Bell to sing a cover of one of her albums, Roll, Jordan, Roll.
Been there. Oh, yes, Lord, sitting in the kingdom to hear Jordan roll. Roll, been there. Oh, yes, Lord, sitting in the kingdom to hear old Jordan roll. Hey, roll, Jordan roll, roll, Jordan roll. You know I want to get to heaven when I die, just to hear old Jordan roll. I said, sinner, you ought to be there to hear Jordan roll. Yes, sitting in God's kingdom, just to hear a Jordan roll. Hallelujah, roll, Jordan roll, Jordan roll, Jordan roll. I want to get to heaven when I die, just to hear old Jordan roll.
Over the years of Wesley Impact, Keith Garner has had hundreds of conversations sharing stories of hope, resilience, love and the Christian faith. Perspectives on Faith and Entertainment is a collection of inspiring and insightful conversations with people who are leaders in their field, including former Queen of Pop, Deborah Byrne, pioneer songwriter Jeff Bullock, children's and country music entertainer Colin Buchanan, Golden Guitar winning duo Carter and Carter, seasoned performer and music mentor Daniel Kay, and renowned worship leader Darlene Check. Each conversation shares a unique perspective on entertainment and collectively presents a broad cross-section of performers and how their faith impacts their lives and others. Perspectives on Faith and Entertainment is the third instalment of a 3-part series and is available now from Wesley Mission. To find out more, contact Wesley Mission on 02 9263 5555 or email impacttv@wesleymission.org.au.
I hope you enjoy Francine as much as I did. But now we're going to turn to one of what I think might be called one of the most famous of Jesus' parables, the parables of the talents, or the bags of gold, depending on which version that you read. And it's the bags of gold in my version of today's New International Version. So I'm reading from Matthew 25, 14 through to 30. And you have to read it in one sense in conjunction with the parable of the 10 virgins that went earlier. But we read from verse 14 of this particular chapter. Again, it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The man who'd received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 bags more. So also the one with 2 bags of gold, and gained 2 more. But the man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I've gained 5 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful with a few things. I'll put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. The man with 2 bags of gold also came. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 2 bags of gold. See, I've gained 2 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful with a few things. I'll put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. Then the man who'd received 1 bag of gold came. Master, he said, I knew you are a hard man, harvesting where you've not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid. I went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you." His master replied, "You wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I had not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. Well then, you should have put the money, your deposit, with the bankers, so that when I returned, I would have it back with interest. So take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. For whoever has been given more, they will be given an abundance. Whoever does not have, even when they've been what they've got, they'll be taken from him. Throw the worthless servant outside into the darkness, where there'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth." Now, I said the first parable in this 25th chapter of Matthew, and there are 3 in total, had a toughness about it. Gosh, this has that about it too. But remember, it's a parable. It's not a story of something that happened. It's a story that has one powerful message to it. Before going away on a journey, the man called the servants together and entrusts them with money. It has a threefold pattern. That's so many of the stories of Jesus and stories of the day had a threefold pattern. And we're told that he gave gold in bags of gold or money in various allocations. We're told the money is allocated in relation to their ability. Now, I find that very, very important part. In verse 15, it tells us quite clearly that they received it in accordance with their ability. The master returns, calls the servants to give account. The difference between the 3 of them is all explained in verse 21 through to 25. It's a parable, certainly not an investment pattern. So we must use what we have, or we're in danger of losing it. Now, that for me is the most important message. If the first parable was about being ready, the second is use what you've got. Because if you don't use what you've got, you may not even keep what you have, let alone gain other things. And that's so true, isn't it? In terms of gifts, abilities, in terms of resources, we have to use what it is we have. Colin, in his own story, used the gifts that God had given to him. He wasn't called to play AFL. He was called to use his voice and use his humour. And that's what he does. And we have, all of us, to recognise that we must use the gifts that God has given to us, whether they're bags of gold or whatever else they might represent. And I think Jesus is really saying to each one of us, have a look at what you've got. Have a look at what God has given to you. Have a look at the gifts that God has given to you, and make sure you use them, that they don't rust up because of misuse or underuse. Make sure that you use them to His glory and to His purpose. Or if you don't, you might be in danger of losing the very gifts that God has given to you, because they are first and last His gift in our lives. And when we think of end times, then it's so very, very important to be aware of how we use our gifts and how we use them to the full. And when we do use them, God rewards us with His presence, His grace, and His love. Make sure you use them.
If you would like to contact Keith and find out more about today's program, write to us at Wesley Mission, Post Office Box A5555, Sydney South 1235, or you can send us an email to impacttv@wesleymission.org.au. On our website, you can catch up on past episodes of Wesley Impact, find out more about our work, read online magazines and articles, and connect with us on social media. You can also connect through Keith's blog and stay up to date on all the latest news and information from Wesley Mission, wesleymission.org.au.
Well, thank you so much for your company today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Wesley Impact as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. If you'd like to find out more about the work of Wesley Mission and how we can help you, please don't have any hesitation to go onto that website, find a way of responding, and it'll be very easy to do that. Navigate your way around it. We've given it a facelift. It's very usable. And for people who are not used to going onto a website, I think you'll find that this is as easy as any to be able to get your way around. You can follow us on social media. I've recently been posting on Facebook, and Wesley Mission has recently surpassed 5,000 follow-up milestones. Why don't you help us get to 6,000? Thank you for being part of the programme this week, and I'm going to look forward to seeing you next week. It's always a joy to share with the Wesley Impact team, those who present the music, our guests, but most of all, those of you that share with us every week as you tune in. See you same time next week. God bless you.
Wesley Mission walks alongside people of all ages struggling with homelessness, addictions, mental health issues and financial stress. To find out more, visit wesleymission.org.au.